Hey lovely sexy hobby people, welcome to today's video, which is going to be the flick through for White Dwarf issue 515. We get a bumper pack in this envelope, as it were. I have opened it already because I just wanted to have a quick look, but then resealed it up. Now, there was an issue because we do have a poster, but unfortunately, because for some reason the glue, there's been a glue overspill, I've got damage on my poster, but not the end of the world. So should we have a look at the poster first? So this poster is for Mechanicus 2. So for those that know what that is, I'm going to plead ignorance on this. I don't know what Mechanicus 2 is. I don't know if it's a computer game or what. But on the opposite side, we have a poster of armour marks. From the Mark 1 Thunder Armour through to Crusade, Corvus, Mark 8, and then the Mark 10 Tacticus Armour, of which Phobos, Gravis, and the melee Gravis variants come from. So yeah, good little poster. I shall just pop that aside, keep it safe until I get into a position where I can put it on a wall. But let's have a look. We also get a, if I can find them, I've probably gone and thrown them away with the envelope. Yeah, there we go. We also get a set of decals. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not 100% familiar with all of these chapter symbols on here. The only one I can think of is this like hawk head. Is that for the white consuls? But we have like winged eagles, winged two-headed eagles here. We have a red sunburst, we have skulls, we have goblets, we have what look like wolf's heads here, or bear heads or something. These potentially are these raven, not raven guard, blood ravens symbols. Are these red ones here for red hunters? I don't know. Or red skulls. But we've got quite a few different little chapter symbols here for different chapters, successor chapters. That was the word I was looking for. Successor chapters. Some of these I will probably use, like maybe I might use these swords because they look useful for Grey Knights. We've got some scriptures, some text which could be used to go on to purity seals or stuff like that. And I've got these chains here in different colours, white, red and black. And yes, just some of these symbols I think could be used in different areas for some of the marines that I produce. But yeah, nice to have another set of transfers. So, Space Marines, is that Titus on the front? From the Space Marine 2 game. I believe he was produced in plastic for a Space Marine 2 board game. But I haven't seen that. Now, shall we skip to the back and we will just get out so we have our intel pickup for our mission for September and across the plains for our battle plan in Age of Sigmar. So intel pickup for Warhammer 40k, across the plains for our battle plan for Age of Sigmar. And then we have these cards here. Now, have a look at this. We have Termagaunt. We had Tyrannid Warrior. So 2 Tyrannid cards, Hormagaunt, Tyrannid Warrior, and Termagaunt, Tyrannid Warriors, melee and ranged. We then have a number of Space Marines. We have Brother Scipius, who is a sniper, listed as a sniper here. And then, so we've got what looks like a full strength and then injured on the reverse. Brother Straben is heavy support. We have Brother Decimus is a vanguard. So when they say vanguard, I'm assuming this guy is in Phobos armor because he has grapnel launcher, but he's vanguard because he's advanced, sort of like ahead of the main unit. We have Brother Quartus, which is bulwark. We have Brother Vespasius, and he is listed as assault. And then we have Brother Valius is tactical. Like that. There we go. Right. Throw that away. Let's put those aside. I'm sure we will find out exactly what these are for right about now. We have player, character and enemy cards to use with our Space Marine Operations minigame, plus our scenarios of the month for Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar. So there you go. We will find out what that is. Right, Planet Warhammer. Headlining hobby news, plus letters and miniatures from you, our readers. We got a nice Mephiston there. A High Marshal Helbrecht. We have a Dark Apostle. And some Black Templars Blade Guard veterans. These are Claws of the Lion. Now, does the name suggest that they are a Dark Angel successor? My son got me back into painting a few months back after what seems like a lifetime. In fact, I still have my first edition Space Hulk and Rogue Trader miniatures from when I was a kid. I'm loving being back in the hobby. It's such a great community and there are many amazing models. I thought I'd send you a few pictures of a kit bashing project I'm working on. It's a Dark Angel successor chapter called The Claws of the Lion. Yep, there you go. Well, we got a nice lion there himself. Lionel Johnson. Worlds of Warhammer, Angels or Abominations, Perceptions of the Space Marines. Let's be honest, they are just a tool to utilise in the ongoing wars, and I think their indifference to the fate of the worlds that they are sent to either rescue or like conduct exterminatus on, I think just goes to show that, you know, they're not necessarily the good guys, they're not necessarily the bad guys, they're just indifferent to what it is that actually is going on in the galaxy. But great artwork of Crimson Fists there. So yeah, just a little bit of background fluff and asking the question, you know, are they angels or demons? Angels or abominations? Dreadnoughts, all macabre walkers of the Imperium's finest. GW, please bring back Mark 5 and Mark 4 Dreadnoughts, please. I miss them, I love them, please bring them back. But we've got a Mark 4 Dreadnought there, we've got what looks like an ironclad Dreadnought there, and then a Mark 5, and then we have the Redemptor here, and that's the Redemptor as well. So yeah, Dreadnought patterns, Infernal Entombment, Orcoid equivalents, yeah, and then we're into Warzone Bastion, the Residius sector. So Warzone Bastion, is this background fluff? One of the countless Imperial held systems to be assailed by the Tyranids of High Fleet Leviathan. The Residius system is home to 3 habitable worlds: the Death World Kadaku, the heavily populated hive world of Avarax, and its cemetery moon Demarium. Prior to the Tyranid invasion of the system, this trio harboured a considerable population and provided valuable resources to the Bastia subsector and beyond. So it looks like some background fluff and a bit of history of the sector and what's happened to it. And then Space Marine operations. So here you have, over the following pages, you will find a rule set that will allow you to play cooperative games with your friends based on the operations mode from Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine video game, Space Marine 2 video game. Players will take control of 3 Space Marines chosen from a range of different classes and will fight to complete various mission objectives against horde of oncoming enemies. So, like I said, I believe that Titus was sculpted and released in a board game which saw him against something like 20 Termagants or something as a board game, and this looks like they're expanding on that, but it also looks like they're using the boarding actions terrain. So core concepts: movement, visibility, playing the game, refresh phase, spawning enemies, activation phase, end phase, cooldown abilities, enemy group spawning tables. Okay, so you've got D6 rolling chart for Tyranid Minoris threat group, and then Tyranids Majoris threat group. So in your Minoris threat, you have Hormagaunts, Termagaunts, or you have a mix of Hormagaunts and Termagaunts. And then in the Majoris threat group, you have Hormagaunts with a Tyranid warrior with melee weapons, Hormagaunts and a Tyranid warrior with ranged weapons. So yeah, they're basically either Hormagaunts or Termagaunts with a Tyranid with ranged or melee weapons. Actions, defensive stance, objective, enemy behaviours, attacking, Space Marines attacking. We have some examples here. Enemies attacking, example being attacked, defending. Inferno. Lieutenant Titus has proposed a plan to block Tyranid advance long enough for a successful withdrawal. Detonate a nearby Prometheum refinery and incinerate the Xenos in a tide of burning pitch. Nice. There's your board setup. And then it says create a chapter here. So how to create a Space Marine chapter. Because home brewing is a thing, which is great. I love the fact that you can do this. There are a lot of canon successor chapters. Obviously we have the 9 founding legions that remained loyal. and then from there we have the successor chapters. It's interesting to note that there is information which can lead people to or infers that loyalist Space Marines from the traitor legions were folded into successor chapters. And chapter symbols here, fantastic. So we've got the first founding chapters here, as I said earlier, which is the Dark Angels, White Scar, Space Wolves, Imperial Fists, Blood Angels, Iron Hands, Ultramarines, Salamanders and Raven Guard. You can come up with your colour schemes. Keepers of the Chalice by Connor. That's a nice white and black with red accents. Illuminators by Gavin. Nice yellow and blue with white accents. And then you have a D6 random rolling chart, 6 different things to create your own chapter. So Progenitor, Combat Doctrine, Homeworld, Beliefs and Attitudes, another Combat Doctrine table, so there's an A and B, and then Quirk. Chapter approved. The Warhammer Studio share their own chapter creations. These look like they're called Shrouded Skulls by Pete. Yeah, I chose that for them to be Dark Angel successors. They looked a bit Dark Angel-y. Is that a word? Knights in Carmine, Pharos Blades, Rust Oxen, Auric Paladins. These are nice. This gold with red and black. Grave Wardens of Piety, Celestial Hounds, Mortui Melorium, and Drake's Radiant. They look like they're going to be a Salamander's successor. The Drake's Radiant are a Salamander's successor. Blades of Unity, Brotherhood of Dawn, Swords of Guilliman, Ignis Hortanium, Fervid Blades, Knights Oceanus, Dawn Strikers, and Angels of Doom. Wow, that's Clementine Knights. Oh, is that because they're orange? Yeah, they've even got like a little orangey symbol. So this is by George. He says, I rarely paint anything with an official colour scheme, as a big part of my hobby is coming up with new ideas. I actually came up with the chapter's first name, then picked orange as the main colour as I wanted the force to be bright and vibrant. I like the colour scheme of the Trans-Hyperion Alliance, so I use that as the basis for my army. I also like converting models. The Stern Guard wear old marks of helmets, for example, while the Terminator Ancient carries a Primaris banner. The biggest conversion was the Predator, which was made from Demius Pattern Predator plus the Castigated Turret. Okay. And a couple of Las Talons. Nice. Iron Hawks here, and then Knights of Byzantium. The Jade Talons. These are a Chaos Space Marine army, by the look of it, because they've got a proxy for Abaddon here. But are they Loyalist or Renegades? Interesting. Nice colour scheme, though. The slashed crimson or burgundy on the turret is an interesting choice. hobby hangout. Weathering, height, painting, wear and tear. So yeah, nice little article on creating weathering effects on some of your models. I especially like this one, mud splatter on your cloaks and tabards, and how they've done that. That is pretty cool. Yeah, applying scratches, chips with a sponge. The devil is in the decals, applying transfers. Showing you how to do it. Quite often if I'm applying transfers one on top of the other though, is I will put a coat of gloss varnish over the top before applying the second transfer, which is what they've done here. So, because otherwise when you try and apply the second transfer straight on top of another transfer, you run the risk of that first transfer starting to lift up. Oh, Saturnine. Horus Heresy Age of Darkness returns to ISFN 5. So nice Warhammer Horus Heresy article. I'm not a fan of these Saturnine Terminators. I'm not a big fan of the look, but I can see why a lot of people might like them. And the Saturnine Dreadnought I think is pretty cool. But again, it's not something I'd seek to add to my army. I do like the Arcane Quad Accelerator platform though. And then here are some pictures of the squads. The Legiones Astartes, the creation of the Space Marines and their legions. So, history fluff on the creation of the legions. Process of initiation, the Space Marine legions. There were 18 legions at the time of the Horus Heresy. Originally there were 20. 2 are listed or were listed as Excommunicado Traitoris, I believe. The Lord of Ruin, a verminous deity, joins the great game. So, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, we are looking at Skaven, I'm assuming, with where it says verminous. So yeah, rats. Here we go. Rats, rats. Rats, rats, and more rats. I need to read that because obviously Skaven, I've got the Skaven type box set, so I need to read up on that. Spires of the Nor. Ratmen rise up the Warhammer world's tallest dioramas. Interesting. This impressive diorama was created by the Warhammer World Studio team and represents the towering spires of Hexenest, the great cathedral of doom that resides at the heart of the Nor, Ash and Daniel, 2 of the industrious architects from the exhibitions team. Tell us more about the project. That is awesome. Look at that. That is something else. That really is something else. I wonder if that's new because I don't remember seeing it when I went to Warhammer World a couple of years ago. Then we have the part 4 of 5 of our Black Library, The Trials of Albarak, a Debt of Honour this time. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 pages. Then we're into White Dwarf Bunker, access granted. Warhammer Underworlds League, so carrying on from last issue with the Underworld League in the studio. Space Marine 2 Operations Mission Pack. 1 to 6 player mission pack is inspired by the player versus environment multiplayer mission experience in the Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 video game. So there you go. So tactical, vanguard, bulwark, heavy, sniper, and assault match the cards here, which are headed with these. And then you have a mission, which is virus bomb. And here are your tactical. So information. So yeah, vanguard was Phobos clad. Bulwark is a Blade Guard veteran by the look of it. Heavy is going to be Gravis armoured. Sniper speaks for itself. And then assault also speaks for itself. Hormagaunt, Termagaunt, Tyranid Warrior, Lictor and Carnifex. Then we have Reader's Models. Asmodai, nice rendition there. The Lion, another nice rendition with this arch as the background. This is Frostheart Phoenix. Wow, that is fantastic. I like that. That is gorgeous. We have our Vindicare Assassin by Robin. That was one of the Warhammer Plus anniversary minis. We have a Raptor Lord by Joe on the back of a reptile mount. Is that the reptile that was originally for one of the Kroot carnivores? We have Beast Boss on Squigosaur. That's awesome. That is cool. And then we have this Broodlord and Norn Assimilator. White Dwarf team play Bunker Bingo. And then we have Bunker Bingo Extra. Some different successor chapters. Cool. So these are chapters that they look like they've used some of the transfers. So a Sunburst and a Goblet for the Sanguine Knights, and then the Red Hawk for the Argent Hawks. Brilliant. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully you will join me in the next video. That's me all caught up, I think, for White Dwarf. So the next one should be the latest issue of 516 when I get round to buying it. I will see you in the next video. All right, take care. Bye-bye.